All right, this is the second podcast of the month.
Yep, and it turns out it's Minority Mental Health Awareness Month.
Right, and I know we had something going on in April. We had something going, and we always need time
Mental
to
health
think.
awareness is every month anyway.
All right, let's start the music.
Audio Jungle.
All right, we're back. Almost caught you right in the middle of the sentence. All right, that will go on our blooper reel. Hey, this is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review, where we come to you live from Mott Branch Library and talk about the things that we've done last week, some of the things that we're working on right now, and a few things coming up in the future. So what we're going to do right now is transition to our opening video. That way you can like, share, and comment. This is the CSRN podcast, a weekend review. We'll be right back.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, the other thing that we've got to come to see now that many of us didn't see too well during the last 10 years, that is that racism
Not guilty.
is still alive in American society and much more widespread.
Broke his neck after Baltimore police.
A handful of protesters, a handful of criminals and thugs who...
Many in moments of anger, many in moments of deep bitterness, engage in riots. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
Mr. Gray's death was a homicide.
The Negro was freed from the bondage of physical slavery.
The athletes marched onto a stage.
But at the same time, the nation refused to give him land to make that freedom meaningful. Freedom without land to cultivate. Freedom and famine at the same time.
And create jobs for our people.
The Negro is to be free. He must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful. Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world with the exception of 9. That's power right there if we know how to prove it. We begin the process of building a greater economic base. And at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. We don't have to argue with anybody. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country Say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his children right. We come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you're not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. And our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
All right, welcome back. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. And as I said before, we stream live every Tuesday from Mott Branch Library. So shout out to the entire staff. I'm not going to name them today because I think we forgot a couple. So we just shout out all the staff that rolls out the red, black, and green carpet for us and also allow us to keep the Final Call newspaper here. Let's get into some introductions because as you see in our ticker, or a part of our label, we've got Coletta Elise in today, and she's an entrepreneur and life coach. She's going to share some tips for you, Jody. All right, so we can lay back a little bit, and me too. What am I wearing today? I've got my brown hat on. I've got a kind of a blue shirt from work. You know, it is what it is. I've got my glasses from Optical Twixt in Between. If you ever see our sister Krista Moncrief, let her know that you want a pair of her glasses, ask for the discount, and I'm sure she'll give you something. And as always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the home of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else, and we're doing this for the protest culture and the activist community where it's on us to set the stage for who we're going to interview, what we're going to promote, what we're going to stand up against. And ever since 10-10-15, we always said that we don't have to ask permission to do good. There's no need for a committee and then a subcommittee to walk outside your door and speak your mind. So, hey, that's it for me. If you could introduce yourself, Jody, then we'll get into our mission statement, guiding principles, take a short back, and come back with Coletta.
What's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth, the treasurer and resident artist, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I guess so.
Of the group. As always, I want to thank you for joining us each and every single week for the last almost 7
years of doing this stuff. All right.
No sponsors, no handouts, no trash talk, no triggering information, no toxic information, just straight community love, wellness, and advice.
Yeah.
Right. Today we got some advice. Last week, you know, we were on the back burner stuff, but the show still worked out well. We thank you all for tuning in, whether it's here live or later on, because again, this is around the time where you're getting all the stuff done, you're getting off of work. It's hot right now, but probably kids are still out there doing their programs.
Yeah, I've got 96 degrees.
Yeah,
all right.
It's been a heat wave. We had a couple days of rain last week that sort of kind of maybe snapped the heat bubble, but it seems like we're back. Again, happy Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, and I believe it's Disability Awareness Month as well.
Right.
And probably some couple other things, as we all know, especially in the summertime, we all need as much help and reminders of how special and important we are. It's kind of like melanin; it doesn't wash off. So, mental health awareness, 365, all that good stuff.
Okay.
For those of you out there listening too, because we are on Spotify and you can't see our wonderful faces, just hear our chocolatey, smooth, velvety voices.
At least one of them, all right? I'm working on mine.
But I am a big brown bear of a man that's covered in tattoos and crystals and stones and bones and artifacts from doing this for the last 11 plus years, going out and meeting people and writing books and being a filmmaker, director, actor, writer, all of that good stuff. I am now the six-time nominated best storyteller and male artist in the country for the Chicago, basically the Grammys, which I still am going to be working on that Grammy thing. I'm waiting on a friend of mine to get his studio done. So I noticed a lot of poets and griots are going into the album realm since it is one of the categories in the Grammys. That will be something to have. I saw something that said, where would you be in 5 years? If not accepting one, but at least multiple Grammy Awards, because I am going to knock that off my docket.
Okay.
Also, again, do a lot of stuff in the community. Shout out to all of the boards and the community members that's doing stuff. I'll catch you up on some of the things going on in our recap at the end for the updates and all that good stuff. I'm also wearing my brand hat, stuff around my chest. Brother Washington just caught a glimpse because I've had them for about a year, but my bracelets, if you are watching, it's like a crochet bracelet and stuff like that that I sell out of the crystals and jewels and stones that I make. And the shirt that I'm wearing is a very good friend of mine who's going to be celebrating a birthday, but it's the Support Your Local. Yeah, Toledo, Ohio shirt. But anyway, all that good stuff for the things that's going on. You know, a lot of people are asking as we were do our processing questions and stuff like that. How do you, get to a point where you are doing activism or healthcare in the field or heck, even in a restaurant? Where is your pause? Where's your break? What do you consistently do? Well, for all of that going on in the world, no matter what's going in the world, we have a mission statement.
And in the guiding principles that kind of, I won't say kind of, because it does. We've done this for nearly 12 years and got a lot of us that do it. I guess we're the ones that they pushed out here to do this part.
Yeah, we're the ones that stay consistent enough to, make the sacrifices necessary to have longevity. That's a lot of things in life too. There's not an always go moment. Sometimes you have lulls. Sometimes you sit down with a council person. Sometimes you're out at the protest line. Sometimes, you're helping out at the soup kitchen, and other times you might have a Molotov in your hand. But either way, it is all part of the process of trying to find justice for the injustices in the world. So this is our mission statement. I hope if you find an organization that you're willing to trust or willing to go forward with, they have something in place, some rules, some guidelines, something that will reassure you that they're not just here for the grant money. I said it again, not just here for the grant money, here today, gone tomorrow, and disappear as soon as it runs out. Anyway, we are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, provoked, attacked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often, police brutality goes without consequence and accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events that help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. And justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
All right. And before I get to the guiding principles, if you look at our artwork today, it was the picture that we took that was taken when we interrupted the MLK celebration.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Amjad, Rolita Noble, Ashe, she's no longer
Right.
here with us. You were there. I think Jabril was there, you know,
We were on the
and
balcony taking the first recorded video.
right,
Several of us were.
right. And, you know, that will always be a part of Toledo's protest culture. And having our guiding principles allowed all of us to come together on that day. So these are the CSRN guiding principles. All Black Lives Matter, queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, wealthy Black lives, differently able Black lives, Black men and women lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children lives. All Black lives matter and are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe.
Ashe.
And that means one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe.
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe.
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe.
Ashe.
Principal struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe.
Ashe.
Love, self-love is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe.
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe.
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe.
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe.
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe.
Ashe.
And hopefully maybe later on in the podcast, maybe right during our subdates, we can look at some of those we call Black Lives Matter moments, some of those things that you've seen and gone through and I've seen that really stand out. So I think that'll be an extra thing for African-American, minority, Black, mental health. Well, all of us need to be aware of that because, man, we go through a lot. And we're going to be talking about that with Coletta Elise later on. So what we're going to do right now is take a short break, and we'll be right back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. We will be right back.
Canal. En esta hermosísima ciudad de Orlando.
I'm here in Barranquilla, Colombia, and in sunny Miami. Daytona Beach, mis amigos, that's where we're at today.
Desde la ciudad de Cartagena, Colombia.
We are in Orlando right now, here in Florida.
Sheets, Director of Marketing and Communications at beautiful Lourdes University, and we've been a proud sponsor and supporter of Voces Latinas TV for over a decade. It has been a fantastic partnership. It's been our doorway into the Latino community. We've met so many incredible people, created so many partnerships. Our students absolutely love the connections we've made through Voces Latinas TV, and we're looking forward to at least another decade, 2 decades.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent, and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. And big shout out to Jody Summers for holding it down as our resident 5 minutes of heat, our treasurer. And if you've ever seen Jody in public, you probably don't know that he's in 2 places at the same time. I actually seen that happen. Hey, family, we are back. And as always, whenever we have a guest, well, she's more family now, but we're still going to do the same thing when we ask them who they are, what they're wearing, and what we're talking about today. So who are you? What are you wearing? And what are we talking about today?
I'm Coletta Elise, and what are we talking about today? We're talking about being optimistic. I'm a certified life and health coach, and I specialize in mindset and accountability.
Okay, so what are you wearing? What's the get up?
Oh, yes. And I am wearing a brown, loose, flowy dress because it's so hot outside that I just wanted to be comfortable. So I threw this on, and it's my beige flip-flops, my beige purse, and that's about it.
Okay, all right. I think we talked earlier about the times that we're living in today. And if you log on to the internet or watch the news or read the newspaper, I don't know if people still read the newspaper.
That's funny. I don't know.
Right. That's how, it kind of shows your age when what we call things. So with everything that's happening today, we wanted to talk about some of the ways that we can stay optimistic and balanced. You as a life coach, how did you fall into that profession? And then give us some tips on some of the things that you do to stay aware, balanced, and well during these times.
I can talk for a long time.
Okay. All right. Well, Jody will give us the cut sign, all right, as he always does. At least he does it for me. Okay. I don't know if he's going to do it for you.
Okay. So originally, I wanted to be a business coach because I was an entrepreneur. I started off doing hair.
All right.
I went viral doing hair, and a lot of people wanted to know, like, how did you get so many clients, etc. And then I got pregnant, got carpal tunnel. So once that happened, I kind of wanted to transition into my career. Still wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I wanted to help. So what better way to help people than to talk? And I've always wanted to be on stage talking. And I went to school for psychology and all of the things. But because I did not graduate school, I'm like, you know what else can I do to be fundamental to people to actually give them the courage and to help them learn, you know? So
Mhm.
it transitioned into business coaching, but I feel like I didn't have that much experience. So life definitely gave me the experience to be a life coach in regards to being separated, getting a divorce after 14 years, having a 3-year-old. So life kind of humbled me. And I want to say like God mostly pulled me out of a situation for me to kind of hone into
Yeah.
myself more. Because had I not got separated and getting the divorce, I don't believe that I would have the connection with God that I do now, or even being in love with myself like I do now, because having gone through a heartbreak will sit you down and you really have to understand and take the moment or take the time out to understand you.
Mhm.
So, and that's kind of how I transitioned. So then I started taking classes for life and health coach because I've always been into health and fitness as well because I'm a Zumba instructor. So, well,
Okay.
I was not anymore, not anymore. And I say that emphasis on not anymore because people were like, Coletta, you're back in town. Are you going
That's
to teach
right.
Zumba? No, I'm not teaching Zumba. My fitness journey is my personal journey. So it's mostly so life, and then so I took classes for to be a certified life and health coach just to
Mhm.
kind of have more of knowledge under my belt, and come to find out life is the best teacher. Like,
Okay.
so that's kind of how that started. And what were you gonna say? Go ahead.
Yeah. Bouncing back from difficulty, and I guess that may be a reoccurring theme for some of us that may need a life coach or someone to talk to. What are some of the keys of bouncing back from difficult situations? You talked about the divorce and transitioning your whole life. What are some of the keys to bouncing back?
Well, one thing I would say is that when people hear life coach, they think that it's just strictly what are you teaching me? I know about life. I've been there. I've done it. I don't even need a life coach, but think of it like a non-clinical therapist where you can call, you have more access to a coach versus you do a therapist or a psychologist because things happen. They could be so busy, or you see them once a month or once a
Yeah.
week. And sometimes you just want that real life experience with someone who treats you like a friend, but it's still a fine line between professionalism and being that friend. And so um, I feel like everybody needs a coach. A coach needs a coach. It's somebody for everybody. You go to your hairstylist to get your hair done. You call
Right.
your lawn care person or
Right.
what have you to, cut your lawn. So I feel like it's somebody for everything. And in those moments that you feel like you just need that different perspective on real life, that's when you have a life coach.
How do you even how do you know when you need a life coach? How does that happen?
I feel like once you get to a place that you're just confused, you don't know. Like, I don't know what the
Yeah.
next steps are. What should I do? And it's something as simple as this a relationship. You constantly going back and forth in a relationship, and it's kind of like, I no longer want to do this. So how do I get out of it? And that's where it all started with me healing and my healing process. My healing process is I wrote a book, poetry book called The Space in Between. That's how you feel it, kind of feeling your emotions and understanding. Before I went through my separation, I didn't know how to articulate my emotions. And being the fact that I didn't know how to articulate my emotions, it would cause a lot of arguments in my marriage because it was like, I'm telling you how I feel and you taking it personal. So I feel like life coaching is like personal development
Yeah.
to understand who you are, not so much to get back to who you are, but to get to who you want to be. And so how I stay optimistic is I'm pretty open. And I wore this dress purposely because it's flow. Like, I go with the flow. Like, I just like to be one with whatever it is that I'm doing. And I don't attach myself to anything just to be a part of something. So I feel like being open to the information or advice that's given to me and me having the discernment to understand whether that's going to work for me or not.
Right. And being open, some of us are kind of closed to the I don't want to say anymore. So we're gonna have a jar. So every time I say that, we're gonna put maybe one of Jody's crystals in there. All right, all right, all right. There's a stigma attached to mental health and wellness. How do we bridge that gap right there for, especially since it's Minority Mental Health Awareness Month? How do we as a people bridge some of those gaps that come along with the territory?
I think one of the things is being willing to be open, if that makes sense. Because if you're not willing to even make the change, it's not going to make sense to you, because you may
Okay.
want to do it because it sounds good. But then when you actually get into it and start to do the work, you find that it's work, and then you're not
Yeah.
going to want to do it. And so I feel like mental health plays a huge part in our lives, period, because mentally you have to be able to change your mindset to understand what you're doing. So if you can't change your mindset, you can't take accountability. If you take things personal, you're not going to be able to change the trajectory that you've been taught all your life. So how are you going to change? So then your mental health is all messed up because now you're dealing with depression and not understanding how to get out of it. And it's so easy to tap into the negative versus being positive or putting a positive outlook on the negative. So a lot of things could be going wrong in your life. And instead of looking on the bright side, as what people say, you constantly stay in that negative realm because it's comfortable there. You get familiar with being there. Therefore, you don't want to change. You and that's what happens in toxic relationships. That's what happened with addiction. That's what happened with anything that you're attracted to because it's comfortable. So you got one foot in to change and another foot in the comfortability of the situation. So then it's almost like you're in, what is that? Like sand that sink. What is it? Sink or sand? Or,
Sink or swim.
Yeah, but no. What is the sand that you can get pulled down?
Oh man, I don't know the sand.
What is it? Quicksand. Exactly. Yeah, quicksand.
I did not know it was going to. Hey, family, look. I did not know it was going to be a test today. All right. All right. Don't be testing me. All right. That's the fourth time I failed today. All right. We started to see a pattern. All right.
Cracking. It's funny, but no quicksand because you want the change, and the minute that change takes work and it's uncomfortable, you're not going to like it. Because when I first started my healing journey, I did not like it. I'm thinking, when is the breakthrough going to come through? When is these, balloons going to come down, a big celebration that something is happening? Nothing was happening. I couldn't see it. I couldn't feel it. And I was just stuck, I felt like. So I'm like, what can I do? So then I started writing. And as I started writing, telling my daughter to be quiet, but as I started writing is when I started opening up and I was able to release. I found my voice. And then it's like, wow, if I'm having all of these different perspectives, if I'm having all of these learning experiences, if I can look at my trauma and turn it into a video to help other people, then maybe I can transition them into having not only just the one-on-one coaching, just because it's like, oh, okay, come work and come with me or come sit with me. It's more so like, I want to help make you better. And how do I do that? By having a conversation with you. I want to be the best. I want you to be the best version of yourself. And if the best version of yourself is moving to another place and I can help you get there, then baby, I'm gonna help you get there. But
all right. So have you, I'm just asking the question. Forget about the quicksand thing, all right? Point to Jody Summers, all right? But forget about the quicksand thing. Have you seen someone during their breakthrough, and how do you even know that you're having a breakthrough? And did you notice yours?
Wow, that's a really good question. You're gonna get me on here crying today. So
okay, well, we had tissue. Jody, we need now we need the tissue.
Need
all right,
tissue.
that's what's up.
I get emotional because I'm so embedded into my work. Like I truly have passion as to helping other people. And so the tears fall because it's true, At any rate, I didn't know I was going through a breakthrough, but it was a immaculate breakthrough because Like I said, when I first started, I was drinking, I was smoking, and not really smoking, but edibles when I first moved back out here. And during that time, and it was like I wasn't drinking heavily because I have a daughter. So it was like I'll have wine or what have you, on occasion. But I found that I wasn't having wine just to kind of relax. I was having it because I was feeling too much and I wanted to run from it.
Okay.
So, and it was this one particular time my daughter was playing. She was with an event in a program playing, and I went to a place. When I went to this place, this lady started explaining her whole life to me. I'm talking,
Oh,
she
wow.
get to telling me about her boyfriend and how it's toxic and she wants to leave, and she starts crying, and now I'm crying. And now, mind you, since Journey was in the program, I was
Yeah.
high because I took an edible.
Right.
So I'm high and she's like explaining all this stuff to me. She's venting, and I'm just thinking like I'm not in the right headspace right now to really take all this in or even coach you, give you feedback or anything.
Right.
So it was almost like that was a testing moment for me, and I feel like I failed because I was high. So fast forward maybe like a couple minutes later, somebody had asked, or she said, we're going to pray. And that was the missing piece in my healing journey, which I didn't even understand that it was because I didn't know. So it's like your breakthrough is going to come in moments that you don't even understand or moments that you don't anticipate for it to happen. So during the time that I was on my healing journey, like I said, I was drinking and, getting high here and there. I couldn't unleash or open up that next door that God had for me because I didn't understand that I needed to go through that door, right? So in prayer, I felt so embarrassed because I haven't prayed since I started. My healing journey started October 2024. And during those couple months, yes, I'm thinking I'm healing, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I wrote a book. Yeah, but it was like I was missing something still. I didn't have a breakthrough yet. Just because I wrote a book doesn't mean I had a breakthrough.
That's true.
But I started to find my voice. So finding my voice was like small of a breakthrough. Right. But so then that prayer kind of opened up everything for me because one, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed in front of God. I felt like in that moment that it was me and the other one, and it was me and others in the group prayer. Nevertheless, I felt like it was just me and God standing right there looking face to face. And the person that did the prayer didn't even realize what I was going through internally. The prayer wasn't just like a general prayer, like, oh, we're praying for everybody in the group. Amen.
Right.
It was specific to everybody in that group and specific to Coletta. You see your purpose, God. You see what you're trying to do. You see what you're trying to build. And here I am standing in a doorway, and he's like standing there. And he didn't even know, he just held the door open for me. I had to walk through, and I walked through to meet God, not face to face as if, I had that revelation. But nevertheless, it was in that deep moment that this whole time that I was healing, I didn't go to the one thing that I needed, and that was to the source to find out who I really was. From that day on, it's like I pray every single day. I read my Bible, I study my Bible, and that was a breakthrough moment for me because since then I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking, and not that it was like a huge problem, like I needed it every day to function, but it was a simple fact that that one thing was holding me back to find out who I truly was. And I feel like I have so much wisdom, so much discernment, and I feel like I have a true gift and God talks to me every day. And that is just one of the most profound moments that I would forever be grateful for, because had I known that, of course I would have did it, right? And most of the time they say when you find yourself, you find God. Because a lot of times I see different people like on Facebook and stuff, and it's like they into God. Like, why does everybody get into God? Is what I was thinking. Don't get me wrong, I grew up in church and things like that, but a lot of times I would think that people would fake get into God or the beliefs just because it was the right thing to do, up until you truly start finding yourself. And he was like, yeah, I don't know where else to turn. I don't know if I'm healing anymore. So it's like, what else do I need? And I needed God in that moment.
All right. Now,
and forever, all the moments. But
unfortunately, there are some out there that will give the impression that they're into God. So for those people, you just watch their work.
Right. Absolutely.
All right. For them, now it's awesome to hear you. I want to just go back to being thankful and optimistic. 3 things that you're grateful for.
3 things that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful to have a voice, right? I'm grateful that I'm able to tap into who I am in a sense of saying how I feel. I'm grateful for the healing journey that I've been on. I'm grateful for that God is the center of my life and that he talks to me through everything that I do, and I trust myself.
Right. Before we get into what you do for self-care, you're a mom.
I am.
All right. Man, what are some of the, I guess, the greatest rewards of being a mom? What would yours be?
The unconditional love. Because no matter how many times he gets in trouble, it's bittersweet that she still loves her, say she's sorry, or really try to understand why am I getting in trouble for this, you know? So it's those learning and teaching moments for me. And I say learning first because I'm always a student. She teaches me every day. And then those teaching moments that now you done taught me something. Now I can instill that back into you, but in a different way because you're 4 and I'm 36.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. You owe me $5, Jody. I told you. All right. All right. So for a life coach and an entrepreneur, and it was a mindset and accountability coach. I never heard those three used like that.
Yeah.
So what do you do? What does a mindset and accountability coach do for self-care?
So mindset and accountability coach is mind, body, and soul, right? And so you say you love yourself. How do you love yourself? A lot of people say like,
Okay.
oh, I love, if you ask a random person, that's a challenge for you guys. Ask somebody, do you love yourself? And what's the number one thing that they're going to say?
I'm going to say, yeah.
Yeah, duh, I love myself. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine and all, but it's like, did you love yourself when you was drinking Seagram's gin every single day?
Ooh.
Did you love yourself as you light up that Black and Mild every single day, every time you got upset? Did you love yourself when you kept allowing that man to put his hands on you, had black eyes every other week? How much did you really love yourself when you still in that toxic relationship? How much do you love yourself that you constantly be mean to your children every single day without really letting them be heard? How much do you love yourself if you don't even love God? How much do you love yourself if you're being disrespectful to your parents? So it's kind of like you say you love yourself, but how much? How do you really love yourself? And so I'm sorry, I just went on a whole tangent. What was the question?
No. What you were doing, those were bars, all right?
I mean, yeah.
That was a I don't know if that was an actual piece. How do you love yourself?
No, it wasn't a piece,
but it can be.
It can
be. And family, you heard it here first. How do you love yourself? All right. By Coletta Elise. All right. You heard that. How do you love yourself when
True.
Right.
Oh, we were talking about self-care. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But those were that was spontaneous. That was genuine.
And yeah,
that was sincere.
It's coming from, that's the truth. I was drinking, I was smoking, I was, in abusive relationships and still stayed. Like, why? Went after a man who said he didn't want to be in a relationship. Why? Like, how much do I love myself that I feel like I had to wait or had to be beneath something because I felt like I wasn't enough? So it's kind of like, how much do you really love yourself? Like, it's easy to say yes. It's easy to be like, yes, I love myself. I go get my nails done. I go get my toes done. Okay, that's cute. That's the aesthetic. But if you love yourself, it's going to be inner. That inner work that you have to do. Mine, like I write poetry. So I'm into my thoughts. I'm into reflecting. Like later I'm going to reflect on what I said today just to kind of like, okay, I understand that. What did I learn out that situation? And every situation is what I learned. And when I write poetry, I don't write poetry so I can speak it to everybody. I write poetry because it helps me. It helps unleash and reflect something within myself. And it helps me learn the lessons that I learned. I very rarely write about the person. I always write about the experience that I had. So the lesson behind that, my body, I ain't a trainer. I was about to say I'm a trainer. I'm not.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I don't know. We were looking on your Facebook page earlier. And we beg to differ. All right.
I have a trainer.
Okay.
I have a trainer. And so that's how I work on my body. And then my soul, I pray and I read my Bible every night.
Right. Okay. Man, people are chiming in. Danetta Carter, the social butterfly, she says, good evening. DeBella says, "Hey, girly." Okay, all right. Hey, girl.
Hi.
Hey, girl. Hey. Okay, all right, man. We get more traction tonight than we have to average it all the time. Oh man. All right. Lastly,
Can we take a break?
Huh?
Can we take a break? Journey has to use the body.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all right. We're going to take a short break and we're going to come back with Coletta Elise and self-care. This is the CSRN podcast, a week in review. We'll be right back.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
All right, we're back. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. Big shout out to Coletta Elise, life coach, entrepreneur, mindset and accountability coach. First time I ever heard that. Before we log off, and we're going to have Jody come on and give us the community updates and the things that are going on in the city, and make sure you show up at the African American Festival Parade. That's going to be this Saturday. We'll find out the time. I think they line up about 11, 10, 11. Okay, all right, thanks. I'm diving into his stuff is more important than mine, but all right. So we wanted to close out with self care. What do you do for self care as a life coach, and why?
I meditate. Yeah, I meditate and I reflect and I write. That's my self care. Like it feels so good. When I tell you, like, I'm so grateful to be on this journey of just healing because it's not ever a ending. You don't get healed and you're done. It's
Right.
always life that's going to test you. It's going to test those things that you're familiar with, those people that you're familiar with. It's going to come back into your life. And it's not about whether you talk to them or not, but it is about your response. How do you respond to the things that life is teaching you or that God is throwing at you? It's like, did you really pass this test? Let me see. And boom, because God teaches an experience, right?
That's
And
right.
so being that experience is there, what are you going to do about it? So I love to just be home, take my shoes off and just take a shower and just relax. I don't even watch TV, which sometimes I try to reward myself to watch TV because I really
Okay.
used to love it. But now I feel like a part of me, I'd be so busy that I'm like, I don't have time to watch TV. But then it's kind of a lie because I'm at home and I'm like, no, I just dozed off for 20 minutes. I didn't even realize I was tired, you know.
Well, let the TV watch you sometime, all right?
But being a homeowner is always something to do, whether it is getting somebody to get the lawn cut, getting the gutters clean, taking the trash to the front yard. Like, come on. At any rate, so back to self-care, I do like to do things. I love to travel. I'm a travel business owner, so my whole ecosystem is made up of, well, would you say I probably like 4 parts because my poetry, the space in between is where you feel it, right? Passport to
Right.
Healing, which is still coming. I'm still working on that. It's an audio book about how to heal because a lot of people think that, oh, I'm healing, I healed past that, or they write Facebook quotes because it's easy and it sounds good, but you really don't know how to do the work because when somebody talks to you, it doesn't come off genuine. It just sounds like you chat GPT'd it. So then when you ask the question about it, you don't know how to explain it because you just copied it. So Passport to Healing is actually how to, right? From the Passport to Healing, then is my coaching, that one-on-one session to actually grow through it. How to, yes, I feel it. And then growing through it is that one-on-one coaching. And traveling with my travel business is influence your journey. Influencing your journey is how you experience it, right? You're not going to be able to learn by being in the same comfortable place that you were in. You have to get outside of yourself, and getting outside of yourself means exploring new opportunities and doing different things. So when I get my nails done, when I get my toes done, I just like to close my eyes and relax and reflect in that moment, as well as walking outside barefoot. I love grounding. Like I have to like feel that sunshine on me. I love to be in nature. If I could be naked in nature, waterfall coming down, like, that's a little visual.
Okay.
I want to just,
that's what we do all the time. Anyway. Not me and Jody, not me. Not me and you, Jody. They just looked at me like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what we
hilarious.
do.
And
That's crazy.
and working out, exercising with my my trainer and working on the different muscles in my body and just I feel so good when I'm at the gym. Like that is my body, working out, it feels amazing. And praying, talking to God and getting those answers. And it may not be in that moment, but it is in through the experience. It's like I read a Bible verse and then later on, boom, I have an experience like, oh my goodness, that just tie back into Job 14:9 that I just read. Like, so it's just everything that you do, it has to be in the perspective of how you see things. So if you want to see the good, if you want to live an abundant life, you have to start practicing that. And I even do that with my daughter because sometimes she'll be like, oh yeah, mommy, give that man some money. And I'm like, whoa, why would I give him some money? She's like, because he needs money. Why? Just because he needs money? Why do mommy have to?
They invited you to the podcast. All right, I try to throw myself in there, Jody. All right,
but I'm just saying, in those moments, it's like it's understood because he's asking, but it's also those boundaries and discernment because you can't just give to everyone, and just because you may have it or may not, you just still have to understand that. And so sometimes she will say like she want ice cream, and so I'll say, well, you got money. And she'll say, no. It's like, yes, you do. You always have money, regardless. I don't care if you have a penny in your pocket, you have money.
That's
you know?
right.
So and that money is just a materialistic, just a simple, thing, but it's the principle behind it. If you want something, you say it as if you already have it. You don't say it when you don't have it.
Okay.
So,
all right. All right. Would you be willing to come back and sit with us? And because I think next month, Jody, will be another month. Next month is Black August. And you know what we do, Coletta, every year for Black August, we turn our site over to a community member. And let's talk about that. Maybe we can turn our Facebook page over to Coletta Elise. And throughout the day, she can share some of those life coaching, some of that mindset accountability, type thing. Well, we'll talk about it, but I kind of just said it right now. All right, we do a page takeover. Let a local clinician or community member take over our page and advertise themselves to all of our followers.
Oh, okay. That'd be pretty dope because I definitely post on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Coletta Elise. And I talk about a lot. I either read my poetry on there or I'll give my perspective in a video. So not all my videos are poems, but more so sometimes it's just like a perspective or a lesson that I learned and then I'm talking about it. And sometimes everybody's like, I need my own podcast, but it's like,
absolutely,
I don't really know. It'd be like 1 or 2 minute videos.
well, I will say this, for Black August, if we were to talk about that, whatever you have, not only share it through your page, but share it through our page too. Because I think that there's a lot of us in the activist culture that need to hear this.
And yeah, definitely. I think it's a lot of opportunity, a lot of advice and different perspective, because you could say the same thing that I'm saying it, but some people might gravitate towards you because they like the way you said it versus gravitating towards me and they like the way I said it or give examples and etc. So just bouncing off each other, I think is room at the top for all of us. So I definitely feel that that's great that you guys do that.
All right. Hey, we're going to take a short break. Thanks, Coletta, for coming through. All right. Hey,
Thank you for having me.
Right. We'll be back with Jody and community updates and follow up on some of the things that's happening in our community.
Thank you for the
all right.
I think I look good in this brown and you contracted because you got that brown hat on.
Yeah, that's what it is. Now I'm trying not to, you better not blush. Hey, this is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Elgic channel. In our last video, we learned how to properly clean our TV for that perfect movie night. In case you missed it, you can check it out by clicking the link below. But what's a TV without its remote control? It's the accessory that gets handled the most and collects a lot of germs, dust, and grime. So today, we're giving it a proper clean to keep it fresh and ready for use. And the best part is that these same steps can also be used for streaming sticks, gaming controllers, and even household appliance remotes. Now, let's get it clean. To clean your remote, all you need are household items. You'll need a microfiber cloth, a small brush or toothbrush, a toothpick, rubbing alcohol or bleach-free disinfecting wipes, and a cotton swab. Now, to clean our remote, first remove the batteries. Then, tap the back to shake out loose debris. Use a toothbrush and toothpick to remove crumbs and dirt between the buttons. Next, for an initial wipe, dampen your microfiber cloth with alcohol or use disinfecting wipes to wipe down the front, back, and side of the remote. Remember, never spray liquid directly on any controller. To ensure the areas around the buttons are disinfected, dip a cotton swab in alcohol, squeeze out the excess, and wipe the nooks and crannies around the buttons. Then, do a final wipe down. Lastly, allow the remote to air dry before reinstalling the batteries. And there you have it, a fresh and disinfected remote control. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos just like this one. You can click the link in the description box below for our other tutorials. And don't forget, cleaning is a family affair. See you next time, and as always, let's get it clean.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, a week in review. We are we're a little bit past the 7 o'clock hour, and this time we most likely start to transition things. So far, we had a great podcast today with Coletta Elise to come in and talk about life coaching and how to stay optimistic, especially during these days and times when you can open up your tablet or your laptop and, man, it looks like everything's, going one way, but you're still here. All right. And what I wanted to share a couple of stories from this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper. This is a national publication by the Nation of Islam. And we utilize this as a sending a message to our community. However, the news that we place in this newspaper is not clickbait. It's not Chat GPT. It's not something made up. We believe that our people deserve to know what's going on in the community, not only nationally, internationally, but also local. So there was a couple of stories that I wanted to highlight. One is regarding what's happening right now and the severe weather. And the headline for this one is, the latest severe weather striking the U.S. bears witness to Allah God's divine judgment. And this is from this week's edition. This article was written by Charlene Muhammad, who is a national correspondent. And you can reach her at Sis Charlene on Twitter and Instagram. It says, Allah God's judgment continues striking America as severe thunderstorms, flash floods, and damaging winds and elevated temperatures impact millions of people across several states. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the eternal leader of the Nation of Islam, taught us that decades that God will use 4 great judgments to bring America to account for centuries of injustice against Black and Indigenous people. Here are the judgments, the 4 great judgments that Almighty God Allah is bringing on America is rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes. And we see them now covering all sides of America. And as these judgments will push the people into the center of the country, where they will realize that who is bringing them in their country to naught. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote this in the monumental book, The Fall of America. That story, and you can read many other stories in this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper. And lastly, I wanted to highlight this story is from the Center article. Let me bring this paper up. The paper up again. At the top of the this week's edition, you'll see this article by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It says the true history of slavery in the Americas. And Jody, we don't have to wait till Black History Month to talk about our history. It's after Juneteenth, and we can still talk about it. We in this for 365 days a week.
That is true.
All right. And this is the controversy, the true history of slavery. Let me bring this article up. It says that the time that we live in is so strange that those men and women whose idea some disagree with and whose persons are not loved at all are targeted for assassination. It's been so shameful that when we disagree, the only way we can settle arguments and disagreements is through assassination. That means that you don't have confidence in your truth because assured light vanishes darkness. Truth vanishes falsehood. If truth is with you, then you have nothing to fear from anyone that comes bringing darkness and falsehood. So the assassination of such people are unnecessary and the shining of the light is sufficient. For America, it says that, but of course, if you've been made to believe that you have light, while in fact you're in the dark, then anybody who comes shedding light on your darkness will vanish the false ideas, concepts that you hold true, that enslave you and those in power whose aim is to control your lives and your destiny. Then there's a real threat to people who are in power, who fear your ideas. So having said that, truth is what a lot of people are yearning for. They're not yearning for what to read, what they see on the nightly news or in the publications. And I always tell people, if your news has commercials, then you should side-eye that. America, as we talked about in the other article regarding the weather, America, just like any other great empire, Egypt, Babylon, Persia, all of those, Rome, Greece, all of those have a term. And you can notice when anything is in disarray, from a house to a car to anything else, when you start seeing those signs. So what I'd like to say regarding this article regarding the truth history of slavery in the Americas is at one point we're going to have to do something for ourselves. Thinking that Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Barack Obama, or anybody's going to swoop down Jody to save us and help us. We might want to start with ourselves. So pick up that article, check out that article and many other in this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper. You'll find myself and some of the other brothers out this week with the Final Call newspaper. You can stop at the Mont Branch Library, pick up this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper. Bobby Howard's Powell's Beauty Supply, where you should all get your hair supplies. I don't have hair anymore, but if I did, I'd be shopping at Powell's. So that's this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper. And as always, there's still more tributes honoring and remembering our mother Khadijah Farrakhan. There's an awesome article in this week's edition of all of the heads of state and all of the people in the know that have come out in their support. And also in August, I think it's in August, be looking out for a huge tribute in New York City at Madison Square Garden, honoring Mother Khadijah Farrakhan. So I'm going to put a cap on it for this week, but make sure you get this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper. And if you want to hear us live, you can come to any of our meetings, in particularly this Sunday, 11 a.m., 1416 Nebraska. We are in the transition making sure our building is up to par as we do the construction and repair of it. So that's those are our location times. You're more than welcome to stop in, hear what we're talking about. Jody, I think that's going to be it for me. And I like to transition to what we call our community updates and follow up and some of the things that are going on. And one of the things Jody and I were talking about was CSRN. We're big on sharing what other people are doing too.
And I have a whole list.
All right. So, hey, let's get into it.
All righty. What's up, everybody? So these are the updates, just in case things that you might have missed that went on last week previous to the show, and things that are upcoming. We will start off with Wednesday, July 8th. We had Hold the Vision. This was an event by Inspire Somebody, held at the Mind and Soul Gallery Studios, 500 Madison Avenue. And that is the new location of the River East Gallery. If you guys remember, there was an art gallery over there with Chris Contron and, it's Miller Lite on the one thing. But either way, now they have a new space that's downtown. I believe the old Woolworth building and everything. So they've been doing open galleries and shows and workshops and stuff like that. So if you get a chance to check them out, make sure that you do. Moving forward to Saturday, July 11th, there was the sold out 125 years in the making, a conversation with TMA, Toledo Museum of Art's directors. There are several of them, and that was at 2444 Monroe Street. If you don't know where the Toledo Museum of Art is, but I believe this was in the Glass Pavilion because the main building is currently closed, but you got to talk with the current director,
all right,
Adam Levine, past director, Brian Kennedy, and Don, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name, but it's for a candid conversation reflecting leadership, legacy, and evolution of the Toledo Museum of Art. For all of you that do not know, it is under renovation. So the main building, the green building outside of the Symphony and the Art Learning Center, is closed until 2027, possibly 2028. So if you haven't got a chance to get that information, as I'm still telling people, but that's what's going on right over there. Also Saturday, July 11th, there was the Uncloistered Poetry at the Attic on Adams, and they had 3 awesome guests for their event. They had James Hamilton, Pella Felton, and Carrie Troutman. So all great poets, all great people. Unfortunately, as people that do watch my page have seen that I am sequestered for the weekend, trying to get my first house and everything. So any event on a weekend that hasn't already given me a 2 month notice, I'm not going to be at, except First Friday, but we'll get into that later.
All right.
Coming, and also on Saturday, there was the Toledo Night Market, hosted by the Toledo Farmers Market. That was from 6 p.m. to 10:30. And Saturday was a very busy day. There was the second Saturday salons for the American Muslims for Palestine, with Walla, who's an awesome friend of the show and everything like that. If you've seen a couple of the parades, I've marched with Palestine the last couple of times. So hopefully they had a good thing. That was at 2357 Scottwood in Toledo, Ohio. Saturday, July 11th, there was the Sip and Paint with David Ross, as we affectionately know him in Toledo as Gutter Dave. But that was at Toll House, 1447 North Summit Street. And that started at 7 o'clock until, I believe it went on until about 10, because I did see him come back and be in our cigar room at Cliche. And also there was a community give back bike ride or bike build and raffle in the Vistula area. Shout out to Deborah Sue and my Historic Vistula Association board. I can't be there because I was at work, but it looked like a great time. I know some bikes were raffled off, some were built and everything like that. So kids had a great time with that. Sunday, July 12th, a beauty unbinding live arts and entertainment at the Toledo Portal School for the Arts, at the Portal for Toledo School for the Arts, 1401 Adams Street, and that was from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Chanel India, a good friend of mine, she was the host and curator and all of that stuff. They had live performances, culture, arts, diversity, creativity, a free raffle drawing, and complimentary food and beverage with a whole bunch of artists and everybody else there. Sunday, it was a very busy day, the Stroke and Sip at the Blarney Event Center, and that was put on by Respect the Mic 419 and our very own Sunkiss, who's branching out and doing more events and stuff. She is the person, if you're trying to get something over there at the Blarney, contact Sunkiss, and she can help you out. It was a very good event from what I saw on all the photos. They had One Single Rose, Vanessa Black, Marcus Williams, and go on the flyer right here. There's another person. And Fun with Fran. So hopefully everybody that went out enjoyed themselves. It looks like you did from the things last weekend. Before that, of course, they had the 419 Lock Show, but this was from 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. And that, I believe, is all of my events in the past. And there was also the for the house on Fulton.
On Fulton, yeah.
So shout out to all of the community members and everybody involved in helping paint, and of course my job as well, Cliche, for helping paint and get some of that work done on the house that looks like it desperately needed to get done. Try and give some personal shout outs to, I believe it was Dre Pearson and Breezy. Just a couple people involved in making sure that happens. Also, I want to give a special shout out from us to the first African-American president and first female African-American president of the Rotary Club of Toledo. In their entire history, she is the very first. So shout out to Candace Harrison for that major accomplishment. And moving forward into events, in case you did not know, this is African American Festival Weekend.
That's right.
Which started the kickoff on the 13th as they had the prayer, and then they got a Toledo vending thing going on. There's going to be a community day on the 17th. I'm guessing this way so that they have vendors and everything before the big day, which is the 18th. The parade starts at 10, so lineup is probably about between 8:30 and 9 a.m. if you've already captured your spot and stuff like that, or are holding your spot. So that is going on this weekend, the African American Festival, which is also leading into one of the 5 minutes of heat pieces, but also things that are upcoming before you see our wonderful faces again are this Wednesday, July 15th. There's another Hold Division at 6 p.m. at Mind and Soul Gallery Studios. So if you're interested, they probably still do have spots available. Not sure if there's going to be every Wednesday thing from July 8th to July 29th. Also tomorrow, there is the James Hamilton Showcase of Extraordinary Word Artist. This is something that I got jumped into a group in, but it's actually at a place called Conjure Bar and Stage, 753 Warren Avenue, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I know I'm not there, but thank you for inviting me into the group and making me aware of that. This Monday, there is going to be the Film Toledo grand opening and open house. If you're unaware with Toledo and its filmmakers and stuff like that, this is 500 Madison, Suite 201, and that is going to be taking place at 10 a.m. So if you want to see the grand opening of the new building, shout out to everybody that's been putting that work in to make sure Toledo is a viable place for film and all of that good stuff. And I believe that might be my local thing because my phone is trying to die on me. Should have plugged it up. But yes, that is all I have right now for local. Oh, and if you're interested in open mics and everything, there is the TRL open mic going on right now at Toledo Listening Room, and that is at, I believe, Handmade Toledo this week. So if you're able to make it and go out there and all the good stuff, yes, it is the 1 year anniversary, and that is a Handmade. In 2 weeks, they will be at Black Kite. There is some more pending invites I'm going to look at. There, this Saturday is North Toledo Community Meet and Greet. This is put on by Loves TLC. And for authors and stuff like that, Saturday, August 1st, there's the open submissions for the Roadside Press. And that is all the things that I have outside of the African American Festival, which does not have an event page. But of course, if you've been here for the last 21 years,
right,
that is the premier event for us. I'm happy to be one of the honorees, and you'll be hearing 2 minutes of your time in 5 minutes.
All right, and if you want to find out more about the African American Festival, just go to the Toledo Urban Federal Credit Union Facebook page. That's the primary organizer of it.
Yes.
What year are we in?
We are in the 21st year. Last year was the 20th. I was the 19th honoree Grand Marshal and performer.
That's awesome, right? And if you like what we do and want to support us, you can support us by following us on Instagram, Facebook, listen to us on Spotify, subscribe to our YouTube page, and soon yet we may be posting on X. If you want to support us, you can support us via Cash App. That's hashtag CSRN Toledo 419. PayPal is CSRN 419. We have our Black Lives Matter signs. If you want a Black Lives Matter signs, inboxes on our Facebook page. If you desire to have one of the few defund the police signs, inboxes on our page. And soon, hopefully, we will be having our CSRN yard signs. Hit us up on our direct message on our inbox, and we'll make sure we get either the Black Lives Matter or the defund the police signs out to you. When we get our CSRN only yard signs, we'll let you know. And what we're going to do right now in making the transition to how we close out, we don't close out like everybody else. We don't slam a gavel on the table or say meeting is adjourned. We close out with creative expression, and we call this 5 minutes of heat. I thought that when I said 5 minutes of heat, the thing was going to just come on its grade. Well, I guess
I do have two more announcements from last week, though, because I missed them as I'm going down my page. Shout out to Soul Sessions. That was held last Tuesday, which I'll be there next Tuesday. And Kayla Renee was one of the features, or was the feature. And that was held at Toll House. Next week, there will not be Poetry and Soul. Talked to Kay Renee, and she posted it on her page. So if anybody was expecting Poetry and Soul, there will not be one this month, but next month there will be. If you do want to get to an open mic, they will be having another Soul Sessions at Toll House on Tuesday. And my final announcement is shout out to Unbounded and Audrey Johnson and that whole organization over there. This Saturday, we had our Chat and Chew, or Sunday. Yes. Sunday, we had the Chat and Chew, which is basically every couple of months, creators and local entrepreneurs and stuff come together. We share a meal together. We talk about what's going on in our circles of communities, because for anybody that doesn't know, being a creative is very, 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 very busy. So it is very few times where we get to talk to each other, where we're not selling something, promoting something, or things like that. So it was very awesome. Glad to see everybody that showed up. That was from 1 to 3 p.m. It'll be 2 months, or month after next. So September, we will have the next Chat and Chew. It's a completely free thing, and you just register to go on.
All right. So for 5 minutes of heat, that's when we utilize creative expression to, let you know that we're here and Black people do things just different. All right. And we took that title 5 Minutes of Heat from 5 Minutes of Funk by Houdini, but we flipped it and kind of remixed it. So Jody has been our resident 5 Minutes of Heat spoken word artist, creative. What do you have for us today?
Well, in honor of the African American Festival, and this piece was released 2 years ago on stage as my closer for opening up for Bootsy Collins and Raheem Devine and all that stuff, and being the Grand Marshal and it being Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. This piece is called 2 Minutes of Your Time. So let's begin. Peace. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Wherever you might be in the world, I appreciate you for reading. To whoever might be reading this or listening to this, it's going to be okay. I may not know you or even get a chance to meet you in this lifetime, but some part of me is present with you at this moment. And I want to say it's going to be okay. Life is hard, and we all have our difficulties to face. But as long as you're still willing to get back up and find better ways to accomplish your goals and investigate why you failed, not try again and get the same results, it's going to be okay. I don't know what part of life this might have reached you at, but I can tell you, even if I am no longer here to recite these words, it's going to be okay. Give yourself time. Take a deep breath. Yes, take a deep breath. Have you done it? Now, think about all the things in life you had to face before this moment. Did you survive them? Are you present? Yes, present now to make a decision that will better your life. So I believe you will survive whatever is troubling you at this moment, and it's going to be okay. There's one small favor I have to ask. If you are reading this or hearing this, give yourself a hug. Yes, give yourself a hug. Wait, no, Brother Washington. Give yourself a hug. In this moment, yes, in this moment, because the next might be too late. Because in this moment, I lost my place. I want you to tell yourself, I love you. And thank you for all the mistakes you made along our journey, because they are ours to own, and they make us the most unique individual creation has inspired. It's okay. If you look weird to the person who may not know why you are loving on yourself so hard. Healing is a process, and it's okay if it takes a lifetime, because it's the only way you'll get to know yourself. I hope this moment helped. And if there's someone still staring at you strangely, you're more than welcome to pass this message along. It's going to be okay. I may not be here for your darkest moments or greatest joys, but in this moment, we have eternity. I thank you for reading. I hope you have a better morning, evening, afternoon, and night. In peace.
And as always, we snap our fingers. Big shout out to Jody Summers for always bringing the heat for 5 Minutes of Heat. And shout out to the African American Festival, 21 years.
21 years.
21 years.
21-year anniversary.
Right. Shout out to Sunkiss for stepping out there with the events that and everybody else.
Check out the Blarney.
Right, and making that space a different space now.
Definitely.
I look at that space different now when I'm driving. All right, it don't mean the same thing, and thanks to her. And as always, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter, and Black lives can't matter until all Black lives matter. Justice or else.
Yeah.
Peace.